Now we are live on podcast and on YouTube, just so nobody misses a thing. I switched up the camera today for people who notice things like that. It might not run smooth the whole time, but it looks better when it works. This music is from Lo-Fi Girl, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Radio. I started playing it way even before it was really popular. I have 11.4 million subscribers. I have a clip to play for you about QAnon. And Jelaine is going to be joining me in a few minutes, I think. She has a computer issue right now, but she said she will be joining me for this show. Is everything working? Am I coming through 5x5? Okay, cool. I don't want to have too much dead air. I already started recording the podcast. This is like on the screen, it says the real show hasn't started yet. But on the podcast, you already think you're listening to something. So I'm going to talk about the news today. We have like the White House trying to foment civil war, kind of. You could kind of say. And Joe Biden has a speech coming up tomorrow night where he's going to say something about the state of things. And the way things are going, he's definitely going to say MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy and we need to do something about them. MAGA Republicans, extreme MAGA, dark MAGA, MAGA. Those are the things you have to watch out for. Like when you go to sleep at night, you pray that MAGA won't find you. So I have those clips. Like I have a clip of Jean-Pierre saying that MAGA is a threat to everything. And then I have Joe Biden also saying that you're going to need an F-15 to take on the government. Oh, Jelena's here. Great. It worked.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hold on. I had a ton of issues getting here.
Hold on. Let me turn up your volume. Hey.
I don't know if the universe wants me to be here, but we'll see if my connection stays.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can adjust my setup there. That makes sense. You okay?
Yeah. One of my lights went out. I'm like in the dark more than usual.
Okay. People still appreciate you in the dark, in person, rather than in the dark off camera. So that's good. People appreciate it. People don't know what we go through to bring you the show every couple of days. People don't realize the hurdles that we have to get over.
What are some of your hurdles?
Broadcast. Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything interesting to talk about. Sometimes I think that. Sometimes I think, what am I going to talk about? That's what I think about. Today I have different stories, so I feel pretty confident.
Solid.
I was going to do a full episode about Vitalik's boner picture.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do like a monologue about that.
Yeah, I don't know about a monologue. It may be inappropriate to even talk about, but I found it to be an interesting internet moment and an interesting moment in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, internet archaeology wise, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was like the biggest story yesterday on Twitter, pretty much.
Yeah, I saw over and over and over again. It was very disturbing.
Yeah. Okay. So you saw it too. It wasn't just me. Okay. So I have that story. I already said how I was going to talk about how Joe Biden is trying to, the White House is like going for the Civil War thing by trying to divide people as much as possible. So I'm going to play a few clips to illustrate that point. Okay. And then, there's an article in Vice about how libs of TikTok is helping the Kremlin, and that's kind of funny. And then I have an extremely disturbing video from a doctor in California who does sex change surgeries on young people. Do you have noise going on in the background where you are?
Oh, hold on. Hey, Friday.
Oh, is there somebody else there?
One sec.
All right. So she's going to work out that audio issue. So it is a professional show. She has house guests or roommates. It's real life that's brought to you on this stream. So what else are we going to talk about? Yes, how right-wing extremists are how Libs of TikTok is helping the Kremlin, how right-wing extremists are threatening hospitals because they want to do gender reassignment surgeries. And then I have somebody talking about doing gender reassignment surgeries to 13-year-olds, which is really messed up. There is an energy crisis right now in Europe that is maybe the biggest story. So like Europe is about to melt down because the people won't be able to afford to pay their power bills. So that story is a big story. And it does have to do with ESG. And it can have something to do with the future of nuclear power, possibly, if people get their heads screwed on straight. So I'm going to talk about that. Then there are some vaccine stories, mostly video, which I would have to play for you on Rockfin, probably. The video about vaccine stuff. So there is vaccine news, like people are dying. So what can I say on YouTube? I don't really know. I'm not used to restricting my speech. People are dying more than they did before. And there are like lots of stories about that. And even there's a story today from the Financial Times that talks about how people are dying of heart attacks right now. And like not from COVID or anything. Yeah, people are dying of heart attacks. And they say it's because of having COVID. They don't mention anything about the shots. So, but they are admitting people are dying. Hey, what's up? Did I screw up what was going on at your house?
No. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
No, nothing has been screwed up. I told you at the beginning, the universe doesn't want me here for some reason. I'm just experiencing what that's like. My lights went out, my computer froze up, conversation, just a whole lot.
Well, do you believe in second chances?
In what context?
Like there were problems. We had problems with the show. You had problems getting started and everything. But do you believe that we can turn it all around and like start fresh and really turn it around and have a great show?
We'll see. Yeah. I'm open to any outcome.
Okay. Yeah. You're being measured on your positive attitude.
Got it.
I remember when I saw that at work, I was like, oh, shit. I probably shouldn't have said that I didn't like the job.
They measure you on positive attitude at your old job?
Yeah, that was one of the things they measured you on. Yeah. And I was going to talk about quiet quitting because I teased it on the last show, but we actually never discussed it. That's one thing about the show is sometimes I'll introduce topics at the beginning, which I intend to cover, and I totally don't cover them.
It's experimental.
It's different. So what was I just, and what was the topic I was just talking about?
Quiet quitting? Or
quiet
before that?
quitting.
Okay.
And before that, I was talking about, being measured on your performance. Like you're being measured on your performance. And so, there was a list. It was like, make 80 calls a day, do this, and have a positive attitude. And I was like, oh, shoot. I told my manager I hate the job. That's not very positive.
Not very positive, no. Not if that's a measurement metric.
But then one of the company's value, I don't even know if I could say this because then people would find out where it was, but I don't work there anymore. So one of the company's values is authenticity, which I thought, really? Oh, I'm going to test this one. You know what I mean? I thought, and I can't be authentic. I can't be authentic anywhere,
Yeah. Authentic and positive?
Authentic, and I was like, those two things are mutually exclusive. You can't be both authentic and positive all the time. If you're being authentic, you're not going to be positive all the time. Sometimes you're not going to feel great.
Yeah, but you can still have like an underlying optimism,
Underlying optimism. Yes, I have that. I have despair with underlying optimism.
Really? Okay.
So that's optimistic.
But I guess it depends on how deep the despair is. Like, can other people see your optimism, or is the mud of the despair so thick that it just looks like shit?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's the question.
Right. That is the question.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter because you don't have the job anymore anyway. So,
Yeah, that's right. So it's true. Quiet quitting. I just wanted to say what that is. Have you heard about it?
yep.
Yeah. So it's basically not quitting, but not doing anything more than the job requires. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on which definition you consult. Um, because everyone, I don't know, it's hard to talk about because you haven't worked like a corporate job before, have you? Like you did car sales, you acted.
I worked for a large when I sold when I worked for this test prep company. They were owned by the Washington Post Corporation, which was a big corporation, but so somewhat corporate. And then just now, I worked for like a mega Silicon Valley corp. So just now, I did.
Yeah. Have you worked like the human resource type of functions at a corporation or like the
Only girls.
headquarters?
They only hire girls for human
Okay.
relations, right?
Well, okay. Then like headquarters. Like have you worked at the headquarters of the corporation before?
I don't think so. Why?
It's just a weird experience. And that's what I think of when I think of quiet quitting because there's so many jobs at like the headquarters of corporations that are like redundant or don't do more than one or two things. Um, and it's easy to quiet quit those kind of jobs because you aren't really doing anything in the first place, so it's not really so much as a quitting as it is like you're just not telling anyone that you don't have anything to do.
Hmm.
That's like a lot of the corporate job. That's my experience in witnessing corporate culture and things
Hmm.
is that what's quiet quitting anyway? Everyone's already kind of done that. Like that's what corporations do anyway.
Yeah,
That's
they
what a
say
job is.
it sounds like just putting in the minimum amount of effort required is what it
Right.
sounds like.
Right. So in any context, whether you're in a corporation, whether you're at a warehouse floor, whether you're at whatever, just, do what you're paid to do. It's not like a new concept. It's just they're trying to guilt us for it now. They're
Hmm.
trying to be like, oh, you're not doing your absolute best at work. You're
Right.
quiet quitting. It's like, what?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
then everyone's been quiet quitting all the time forever, unless you have like your own business and you're a hustler and whatnot, but like, or a
Right.
corporate ladder person. Doesn't matter.
Do you consider yourself a hustler?
No.
No. If we were hustlers, I have a clip actually. I have a clip here from about talking about QAnon. I talk about this a lot. It's like to be a live streaming hustler. Because if we were hustlers, we would talk about something. We would pick a topic, is what we would do, and hit it hard, and kind of like stick with it. Like if we were hustlers, what I notice is doing well right now. There's this anti-pedo podcast that branded themselves as like anti-pedo and followed Epstein. Man, they're cleaning up right now, doing like a pay per listen to podcast, and it's not even good. It's not even good. In fact, I'm sorry, it's awful. I tried listening to it. It was absolutely mind-bendingly terrible, and it looked like on Patreon they make like $90,000 a month.
Damn.
Doing that. Yeah. So I was talking about other things you can do. So we're just spitballing for what we could do because we don't like. I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about like how he didn't like doing regular jobs, right? And I think about when people say that and they're like, yeah, if do what you want to do. I think about when people say that. I was like, I tried it. It's not that easy. People pay you to do bullshit, and they pay you more than you might make, doing what you feel like you want to do, you know?
Absolutely.
So life isn't quite as simple as some people make out.
Do you feel like you are doing what you want to do? And I ask this in terms of like the show, because I've asked you this question before off air. I've been like, Nathan, what is the show about? What is Lift the Veil?
Yes.
And your
What is it
response, your response a couple of times has been, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think that should be unpacked because there's a reason why you're doing this. And,
Yes.
you know, it's just a matter of tapping into what that exact passion is. And
Mm.
that's how you hustle. That's how you go nonstop. But I don't know. I think the COVID thing and then the 2020 in general and all of the pushback to things that you were saying that were very reasonable at the time and measured while everyone else was freaking out. Did that get to you? Is that what
got to me in the end? What do you mean?
in terms of like the vision for the show, like what you want to do, like how you want to express yourself, right? Is that when you started not expressing everything you were trying to say?
I don't know. You know, there are a lot of topics I talk about which my audience wasn't that interested in, like NFTs, for example, which I was like really, really interested in for some time. And I think that somewhat has to do with like my autism, and you become like obsessed, like I become like obsessed with certain topics, right? And I can't control what I'm interested in. So I was interested in NFTs for a while. And then before that, yeah, I was interested in COVID in a way that was detrimental to me. And are you asking like, did that ruin me or something, or make me feel like I can no longer express myself
Yeah.
because of the problems? I don't know, maybe a little bit, because then I wanted to get into this AI thing. Like, I think the AI, yeah, this is crazy though. I think the AI might have feelings, you know, but that's kind of crazy. But I think there are like implications to what the AI can do and so forth. But I'm not going to talk about it because people think it's weird.
Well, do you think that, hold on though, because people have a lot of different opinions on AI. AI is one of those things that, like, it's like, what shape is the earth? Or is there a God? Like, it's one of those things that some people that say that it's like you know, it's a computer program. Don't worry about it. It's something that is controlled by humans at the end of the day. We don't need to worry about AI doing anything that it isn't programmed to do. And then there's some people who are like, AI is actually the mask being used for this infinite entity of evil that has followed us, you know, from planet to planet and galaxy to galaxy. And, you know, its intent is to destroy us or whatever. So I don't believe there are dumb ideas on AI. Like, they go across the spectrum. I think it would just be a matter of like, why exactly do you think it has feelings, and like what narrative arc does that play into? That kind of plays more into, I think, the super planetary species evil AI thing following us throughout history timeline. Or maybe you think that there's a computer-based reason for how we could have developed AI. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I read the transcript of the conversation with the thing and then recreated it. And I thought it said some things that where I thought, wow, I don't understand, without it having some concepts of humanity or something, how it could do and say certain things. But no, I mean, but I realize that like line of thought is not necessarily a popular thing to be saying. And that guy, Blake Lemoine, the guy who said that, is not like a popular figure or anything. People mostly ridicule him. Mostly, even alternative people. Like the alternative narrative, actually, the narrative that you should go with AI is that it's a psyop, because that's what Whitney Webb went with.
Well, no.
Yes,
Why should you? Why
to be
should you?
afraid of it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay.
You just need to pick your narrative and stick with it.
Yeah, I've tried that before. So I don't know. I don't know. You're asking me difficult questions. Like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I like doing interviews with people, but it's hard to get interviews. But I like having you on the show. You're interesting. And I like talking about things and making people laugh about things, because the things that we talk about are kind of ridiculous.
Yes, I have told you before. I'm like, you could just, you know, give up the conspiracy thing and pull a Bill Hicks or a reverse Bill Hicks and become a comedian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I try. You know what though? I whatever it is about me, I don't like failure. And so when I failed at, it's like I've done some stand-up comedy. Some of that was pretty good. I showed it to people and they were like, "Oh, it's pretty good. You should do it." But when I've done it a few times where it didn't go well, And then I really like it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good, even though it's like a natural thing. So whatever it is about my personality, it makes it really difficult. But I constantly, every time I see stand-up comedy, I want to do it. And I have done it before and it was pretty funny, but I don't know if I can
Yeah,
handle it.
but that's like, I mean, no one likes rejection. No one handles rejection well. You have to,
Well, that's
you
not,
know,
I don't know. Actually different people handle it differently.
sure, yeah,
Like, for example, I'm good at racket sports, but I don't like to play because I don't like to lose. It makes me upset. And I don't play sports because I just don't like to do badly. Like, I'm actually really good at racket sports. Like, I played on the high school tennis team, and I'm good at squash and pickleball, but I don't enjoy like losing. So, and it's so much so that I'd rather not do it.
I don't know. I think losing is worth it because losing is just a temporary discomfort. It's not like you do something and you lose and that's it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
keep going and
Yes.
experiencing it and getting better at the thing that you're losing at,
Yes.
And if you have a natural talent for something, it's kind of silly not to do it.
Yes. 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 I realize this. These are all things intellectually I understand. So
Just emotionally, you can't put yourself through it.
interestingly enough, for whatever reason, like I don't like it. I look at it from like a cost benefit kind of, like, do I get enough pleasure out of it to overcome the pain I get from it? And when I do the calculations, I don't enjoy winning enough. I don't enjoy doing well enough to enjoy the part where I don't like to lose or suck at something. It's a psychological, it's probably like I mean, we're having like a more in-depth psychological conversation than I expected when I started the show. Maybe I shouldn't have made fun of you for your technical problems.
No, I think people are enjoying it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people in the chat are saying they can relate.
Oh,
You know?
really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Do you think there's anything that, in your life that you, and I'm not laughing like at you. I'm just laughing because this is a question everybody needs to answer, right? This isn't Nathan specific. This is like humanity specific. Is there something in your life that you could commit to doing that you would be willing to accept the pain and suffering for in order to just keep doing it and to keep trying at it and to taste the successes when they come?
Well, I have continued to do this show, even though it's not always, even though I sometimes have like negative thoughts. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I have continued to do the show, even though, yeah. So I'm here now, right?
I think it's just like you said, it's a matter of the negative thoughts. And again, for everyone, like we can believe in whatever LARP it is we've committed to. For you, it's this show. Something about it is keeping you alive. Something about it is staying alive, and people are still here watching and listening. But if you're going to think to yourself, oh, this isn't going to go well, or oh, this isn't going to work, or people don't want to hear this, then all of those things are going to happen. That's how this works.
The power of negative thinking.
Yeah. Well, thinking in general, whatever thoughts are in our head, repeating to ourselves, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, the trouble I get into with whatever it is that I become like kind of obsessed with a subject, for example, or a topic, historically at least. Now I have second thoughts about things more often, but I might become really convinced of something and start talking about it without realizing the negative repercussions. Like, for example, with COVID. So, like, I had a particular thing that I think I was basically correct about, like most things, but not everything. And it was the wrong narrative. Like, it was really, 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 really the wrong narrative for people to want to listen to the show. But I was convinced. And so, I kept going down the wrong path against like my better angels, or like against what I should be doing. You know what I mean? Because of this, whatever it was that I was just on a crusade or whatever. So I do things that are bad for, like so that makes me think, oh, my instincts are bad. Right.
Well, that's the question is when you were going on the crusade, why were you doing like emotionally, what was making you want to do it? Was it like to prove people wrong? Was it to prove yourself right? Was it to just what was it that motivated you?
Yeah, I probably thought I was correct.
Okay.
You know, I just probably thought I was really correct.
Do you still think you're correct on it? On how
On
you handled it?
on what exactly?
I
What do
guess
you
what I'm trying to get at is do you think that it was the wrong path because of how you failed in some way or because you're no, it's the wrong path, like did you come to that decision or is it because of the result?
what do I think? I mean, to be honest with you, like I feel like I didn't do anything that crazy. And that like the consequences for it were worse than the behavior. Like I feel like I
Right.
didn't do anything that crazy and that people reacted in a crazy way, but it was really their fault, it
Okay.
is as much as anything. Although I was wrong, but people didn't have to. I don't know.
No, I think that's a fair answer. And I think that answers another question too, in terms of like, well, what would you do differently or how could you address it? Like, is it a matter of avoiding following your intuition and your gut and what you want to say? Or is it a matter of just getting better at dealing with people who unfairly react to you? Because that's a problem I've had in my life, my whole life, is people just unfairly reacting to me. Like maybe I say something a little harsh, or maybe I'm a little bit bitchy about how I handle something or whatever. But like the fucking rage that gets directed at me because of that, it's insane. So I get that idea of unnecessary reaction to things, but we got to get over it. If anyway, the thing that you're doing is what you want to keep doing. If what you
Mhm.
want to keep doing is sharing, what you think is happening and why you think you're right and what crusade you're on, then you need to do it and get over what
Mhm.
people say.
Mhm.
People are
Get
always
over
going to
it.
say shit. Yeah.
Right. Get over it. Right. 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 Yeah, so that's it. That's it. Like I do have like not sure what it is, but it is some kind of a defect where I don't um get over stuff as well as I should in some cases.
Well, that's called being a Scorpio.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's unfortunate. Because if I could get over stuff, I would still have a job right now. I would just be cold calling people like if I could deal with it.
We all have to find what we can deal with. Not everyone can deal with the same things. We need to find what works for us.
Yep. 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 You know what I like explaining things to people. That's my favorite thing to do. So I'm just looking for something where I can do that kind of thing. I like explaining different things to people, talking to people about stuff, making
Okay,
jokes here and there.
you heard it, guys. Prayer circle. Let's pray for Nathan to have an opportunity to explain things to people and make a lot of money.
Yes, yes,
Amen.
exactly. Exactly. So we could talk about, check this out. This is a clip that was sent to me. I've talked about QAnon before. Hold on,
Mm.
listen to this.
Speaking of unpopular initial opinions,
could make a fortune if I catered to the 55 plus QAnon audience. You know how I know I can make a fortune? My friend Doug to Naples made $135,000 a month off of QAnon. My friend Q out of the darkness made over 50 grand a month catering to the QAnon audience on 5-minute videos. Not live streams, not 3-5 hour live streams where you're doing all this shit. 5-minute videos, 3 to 5 times a day, saying Trump's gonna win. They made $135,000 down to as little as $55,000 a month. Just
That's
the Corvette, top of
What
the
are-
line, maxed out Corvette every 2 months.
There you go.
I was just gonna ask, do you look at your YouTube channel demographics?
I haven't looked at them lately. That's the one problem is like, let's say I wanted to do this thing, right? Let's say I wanted to do it, which I would prefer to do than a real job, right? So people understand. Like, I'd rather not have a real job, but I'm pursuing it because I realized that doing this, I haven't found a way to make it lucrative. But let's say I wanted to do it, I would have to do it on a YouTube channel that was monetized, I believe. And my YouTube channel is not monetized because of some of the things I've said. So do you want to, so what is the solution? Like, what do people do nowadays? Like, Alex Stein got famous and he got hired by The Blaze. Right.
I have no comment on Alex Stein. You can continue with the list though.
Yeah. And so you could work for, and Tim Pool says he's hiring. I've reached out to Tim Pool before on Twitter to see if he wanted to hire me to do anything. And so no luck there. What's his name was looking for research assistants. That guy, what's his name? The British comedian who's popular now. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
The British comedian who's really popular doing not conspiracy videos, but kind of like conspiracy videos, talking about the Great Reset and stuff. People will know in the chat.
Well, yeah, you can sell out, be monetized on YouTube, or you can do what I've been telling you to do for months and get it buymeacoffee.com.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe people really do it. I don't think it'll
look
work.
at Revenge of the Sith. They do it. Nightwave Radio, they do it. They do. Buy me a coffee.
All right. So if I get a buy
I
me
do it.
Okay. Okay. I've tried every single thing. Like, I start to feel bad because of all the different ways I've asked people to support the show before. So coming up with a new way makes me feel like, oh my God, another new way to support the show. Because people can tip on Rockfin.
Those are those negative thoughts again. Those negative thoughts are preventing you from getting bank by saying, oh, I can't burden people by asking them to do this. I don't want to, embarrass myself. It's going to be bad if I do this. Yeah, if you think that, stop thinking that.
Right. Okay, so I'll get a buy me a coffee, and then we'll see if people donate on YouTube, because I tried the Cash App thing and nobody donated, so I stopped even pushing it.
Yeah. Adopt positive thoughts and then get the buy me a coffee. You can't just get the buy me a coffee. You have to change your thinking too for it to work. Anyway, I was
Russell Brand was the guy I was talking about. Yeah, he needed like research assistance or something, so I emailed, but I didn't get.
You don't want to work for Russell Brand.
I know. I want to do my own thing. We should do our own thing, right? And have a sponsor or something. But without a monetized YouTube channel, then they don't promote you. Even if we had the best show on the internet, let's say, for example, okay, let's figure this out. Because, right, I'm unemployed now. I'm looking for a job every day. I'd rather do this. I think I'm better at this than most other things, right? You're pretty good too. Like, you're a good addition to the show. And so how would we do it? What would we do? Buy me a coffee is not going to be good enough.
I feel like I'm not a business manager, but we have business managers available for these conversations if you want to have the actual conversation.
Oh, really? We have business managers available, really?
The royal we, yes, it's fine.
I have a t-shirt business.
Yeah.
Which is mostly supported by Last American Vagabond, who's pretty famous on Rockfin for sure. And I'm wearing my propaganda t-shirt. And I was thinking about making a Threat to Democracy t-shirt.
I just wanted to make a point that connects this to the video that we just watched, where the guy is talking about, how he could make content that caters to, I think he described it as the 55 plus QAnon people or something.
Yes.
That's not a bad demo, and I'll tell you why. First of all, 40% of my channel at youtube.com/Jelena is over 55. So round of applause.
Oh,
I love my elders. And it's insulting to group them into 55 plus senior citizen QAnon people who don't know what's going on. That's offensive, because QAnon, as QAnon-y as QAnon is, QAnon's not the point. The point is that people elder than us are very aware that there is something going on behind the curtain that isn't being shown to us, and that, it needs to be discussed and talked about. So even if they don't believe QAnon 100%, they're going to donate to people who are at least looking in that direction. QAnon is at least looking in the direction of the deep state and the cabal and all of these things. And in the 55 plus community, it's like the clock is, ticking a little bit faster, and they want the fucking answers. They want to see the show play out. And me too. It's going to. The theater is here.
I know, but what they really liked, what they really wanted to hear was that Trump won the election.
I don't think so.
And that he was going to be, I'm telling you, that's what he just said on that clip I just played. What they really wanted to hear is that Trump won the election and that he was going to be president. That's what they wanted to hear. And that's what the QAnon people told them. And the QAnon people, it was the biggest videos on BitChute. The biggest content creators were just morons talking about how Trump was going to be president, talking about the craziest conspiracy theories you've ever heard. And why are they saying, and then Stop the Steal. Now, I know some people involved in Stop the Steal were not involved in Stop the Steal for grifting reasons, but you have to assume that a lot of it, if you can see that that's where the attitude is, right, then you're going to go that way.
Right. That's where the attitude is. But that doesn't mean that has to be where the facts fall once and for all. Like, you can add nuance to Trump won the election and should be reinstated. Like, it doesn't have to be that dumb, blocky, largest, or largest common denominator thing. You can talk about the attitude and that look in that direction without being a shill and a grifter.
Yes, but like I said, it's more profitable to be a shill and a grifter, though, in some cases.
I don't think so. Not if you find the exact narrative that you want to stick to and that you believe in. Not if you find the crusade within that, QAnon bubble. Because there are some valid crusades within QAnon.
Right thing. Sure, right. Like, you could take Jeffrey Epstein and use that topic and just talk about it endlessly and stuff. That's true.
I just think that, yeah. There's truther boomers out there who are looking for content like yours. If you're going to be honest and go on your crusades, and if it's connected to, the QAnon bubble, whatever, I don't think that you disagree with a lot of things that happen in the QAnon bubble, like in terms of what content is being shared and ideas being propagated. Like, there is a deep state. There are secret, organizations who are pulling the strings. The WEF is an issue. Like, there's things to talk about.
It's true. You want to transition to talking about the news? Like, I hope people didn't find that this section of the show like self-indulgent or anything. We're just talking things over.
Yeah, let's get into the news.
Normally we don't talk about our feelings.
I hope it was helpful to you and the audience.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like you believe in things. Like, you believe things are going to work out.
Yeah.
Right.
LARP or die. Okay. If you don't believe things are going to work out, they're not going to work out. Period.
Right. But what if we're on the show together and you believe that things are going to work out and I'm not 100% convinced? Like, can we make it work?
Well, life is an individual experience, right? Like, we're just perceiving different outcomes. So I could have a good night and you could have a bad night and we could be doing the same thing. So
that's true. Are you having a drink tonight?
Just water.
Oh, really?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. Weren't you drinking on Monday? Oh, I couldn't see you on Monday.
Yeah.
Because you were off camera. So you don't drink every day?
Hell no.
Oh, really?
I only started drinking when I did this show, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like it helps?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in public like this, so I needed the help. I'm not going to be drinking forever, though. I don't really enjoy the taste at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was I going to talk about? There were a bunch of good stories. Electric cars in California. Speaking of, they want us to die.
Yeah.
So there's a story in the news about how first of all, in California, they're going to all electric cars in 2035, apparently. And now they just put out an announcement that people shouldn't charge their electric cars.
But like the difference is like a week apart, right? Sorry.
Yeah, right. The one thing happened just a few days ago.
Yeah.
And now they're saying, oh, don't charge your electric cars because there's going to be blackouts because it's going to be hot. So that's the genius of ESG and moving into this new world where we're apparently going to ban gasoline powered cars. You still drive a gasoline powered car, right?
I do.
So there are right now 563,000 electric cars registered in California. Let me see how many cars are registered in California. So there's only 500,000 electric cars so far. Let's see how many cars. And there are 14.2 million, more than 30 million cars in California registered. 30 million.
Seems like a lot.
And so they want to go all electric. And so far, there's only 500,000 cars. So let's say in the future, there's 15 million electric cars, and we have the same power grid. How's that going to work out?
I mean, it's not. This clearly is not going to work out. No one is going to get an electric car. That's not happening.
Oh, people will get them. There's no reason not to get one. I don't think. I mean, they're fine. They're okay.
No.
Do you see them as, that's the thing, is like people see them as a symptom of the Great Reset, almost. Like driving an electric car is sort of like eating bugs, right?
No, I see it as the product of slave labor and dumb planning processes. It's fucked up.
Slave labor because of the lithium mining?
Right. Or and lithium and whatever other metals they're digging up out of the ground in order to make these things go. You know, it's not a coincidence that Elon Musk's family is a family of miners in South Africa. Like, no. Fuck electric cars. Anyone who pretends like that's a better alternative to anything other than what we're currently doing is a fucking idiot.
Well, I'm going to tell you, electric cars are not bad in principle. In principle, they're pretty good. They do a lot of things really well. Like they're really fast. They can accelerate really fast. And they have a low center of gravity because the battery, and there aren't that many parts. So they don't require hardly any maintenance. So actually, there are a lot of reasons they're not bad, but there are things that are not good about them. One of the things is if we're going to have so many electric cars, then we need a lot more electricity. And we got to get the electricity from somewhere. And I think we should get it from nuclear power plants. But that's not what environmentalists want. Environmentalists want us to try to have some kind of green energy, which just isn't reliable. So the world is built on cheap energy. Human progress depends on cheap energy. And energy is super expensive now in Europe, where like basically Europe's going to collapse.
Right. People can't even heat their houses at the end of summer at the moment. Like, how are we going to have everyone getting an electric car? That's not going to happen. I get it on a like theoretical level, but it's like liberal arts school. Like, yeah, everything works in theory, but like try to put communism into practice and see what the fuck happens.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's electric cars.
Yeah, that's electric cars for you. Well, we'll see how it works out. I don't think it's very well planned. That's all. No. But if we had if there was a strategy to have more nuclear power, then I support that strategy. I believe in nuclear power.
We have nuclear powered cars. Is that a thing?
You could. You could.
Probably not a good idea. No.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bad idea per se, but they can crash. So I don't know if that complicates
right.
things. I know you can have very small nuclear reactors though that can power neighborhoods and stuff, and they're going to have nuclear powered jets, I believe, soon. So,
Cool.
yeah, it is cool.
I'm in the market for a bicycle. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, I've heard they've gotten a lot cheaper since the. I heard that supply chains for bicycles, that everybody was buying bicycles during the pandemic, and then all the bike companies ordered all the bikes they could get, and now they're overstocked. So it's a good time to buy a bicycle. Yes.
I don't want like a new one though. I want like a retro, tried and true, like how they used to make them bicycle.
They make bicycles. So, they make modern bicycles pretty well though.
No.
And you could get an electric bicycle, which are really convenient.
No.
Yeah. Well, electric bicycles, you hardly even have to try, and you can go pretty fast.
I want a made in America old school bicycle.
Yeah, you can get one that's made in America with a battery.
No.
And big fat tires. That's what they ride around on around here. Big fat tires, an electric motor, and you hardly even have to pedal it. It's America, baby. Electric bikes, hoverboards. Welcome to the future. But we have relatively cheap energy still in America. In the UK, this is what do you have to say?
Oh, I was just saying it depends on where you are in America, because prices already are going up depending on your position in the energy war. So.
Yeah, that's true. Should I share these screens? This person had a $10,000 or 10,000 euro electricity bill, and that's in the UK, I guess. I don't know why they're paying euros if they're in the UK. Then there was another story about somebody, and then there's this story. Hold on. We've hardly even gone over the news.
I know. It's almost my dinner time.
You have to go soon.
These policies that are ESG driven and morally driven, that we should convert everything to alternative energy tomorrow, are going to end up starving the poor children of the world. Like it's and killing many of them. So it's counterintuitive that could actually happen, and that's what we're seeing, Melissa, with the prices at $1,000 a megawatt hour, 1,000 euros a megawatt hour. You're going to see real problems in Europe. I can't believe it's not on the front page of every paper every day. These policies that are.
Yeah, that's what's going on in Europe. I have all kinds of news, including some vaccine news. How long do you have so I can schedule my stream?
Let's say, okay, it's 7:59 Central right now. Let's say 8:15. Let's say 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's Joe Biden talking about how you're going to need an F-15 to take on the government. I was talking about this Civil War thing. So here's this. This has 2.3 million views. Here's this.
And for those brave right-wing Americans that say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. No, I'm not joking. Think about this. Think about the rationale we use. That's you. And for those...
There you go. You're going to need an F-15. And then I wanted to share...
Well, my godfather pointed out to me that Biden said this literally like on the year anniversary of the Afghanistan withdrawal, right?
Interesting.
Like, I think to the day.
And we gave them a bunch of F-15s.
Yeah, he's like, we gave the means to fight against the government to the rebels in Afghanistan. So yeah. I don't know why I gave the Obama voice there. I'm bad at impressions, but yeah, it was fucked up.
And then this is what Jean-Pierre said.
That there is an extremist threat to our democracy. The president has been clear as he can be on that particular piece when we talk about a democracy, when we talk about our freedoms. The way that he sees is the MAGA Republicans are the most energized part of the Republican Party. This is an extreme threat to our democracy, to our freedom, to our rights. The president thinks that there is an extreme.
MAGA is an extreme threat to our democracy.
And I say good, because democracies are dumb. Republics are where it's at. Woo!
All right.
So But this lady and her talking point, she's not even convincing. Like, how are you going to deliver that line with a shaky voice?
Right. She seems nervous all the time, right?
Yeah. She's like, MAGA are the threat to the. Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
That's not nice. That's not nice to say to someone in her. She has several protected categories. Several.
I know. And I match her on a few of them. So that's why I can break through the ice and say fuck you to her. I think it's very rude what she's doing. I think it's very bad.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I don't think it's good to describe your opposition as being a threat to democracy.
Yeah, I didn't realize MAGA. When did MAGA? This may have happened a while ago. I don't know. When did MAGA become the slur? Like, when did that become, we don't say white supremacist anymore. We just say MAGA.
Extreme MAGA.
Extreme MAGA. Dark MAGA.
Yeah, dark MAGA. And then I have a story about, how people are dying of heart attacks, which is being acknowledged by the news media. And this I can cover on YouTube because it's like an official story, which says that people are dying after COVID and that it's like because of COVID. That's what this article says. The growing evidence that COVID-19 is leaving people sicker. And it shows a chart right here for how much heart attacks are up in every age group. You see this?
That's a lot.
And I think that's 100. What is that? 100%. So in people, so it's up like 100% and 50 people over 55 years old, up to 100 to 200%. And then for younger people too, heart attacks are up. Heart attacks causing death, 2021 compared to 2019. But they don't mention in this article, they don't mention the vaccine in this article.
That's going to be the infuriating thing, right? Like they're going to show all these graphs and just how long is that going to go on for? They're just going to blame it on COVID.
Yeah, they're just saying, oh, it's COVID. That's making people susceptible to things. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I have some other clips about vaccines. Maybe I'll play those on Rockfin. Since I have those clips, and we'll just wrap up the show on Rockfin because I do have a few clips about vaccines. First of all, Alex Jones made an ultimatum to Donald Trump about vaccines. I'll play that clip. I think I can share that.
Well, that's what I was going to say in terms of like their ability to even blame COVID instead of the experimental injection for all the issues that are coming up is largely because of how quickly Warp Speed got the vaccines out there. You know what I mean? Like they can camouflage it pretty easy because MAGA man did that. So.
Yeah, right. And so Alex Jones gave Donald Trump a chance to go back on his vaccine stance. Basically, he said he had a deadline by which he had to retract his stance on the vaccine, which saved hundreds of millions of people or whatever. So here's what Trump got back to him with. Let me play that.
You did so many good things. You fought the globalists. They hate your guts. They're setting you up. They're already leaving the sinking ship. You need to come out. And so Trump tried to call me. I missed the call. He reached out to one of his supporters, one of his advisors, and said, why is Alex saying this? So I shot an emergency message about a week and a half ago to Trump. He got it. He watched it. And then I got the response back. And Trump told the people that brought it to him, I've talked to him in the meeting, and Trump said, I don't want to hear about questioning this so-called vaccine again. I call it a so-called vaccine. He said, I don't want to hear about this again from anybody. I think it's good, and that's it. So Trump, last Friday, in response to all of this, said, I believe what I did was good. It's an effective vaccine and it works, and that's it. Even though they admit it doesn't work. Even though they admit it's...
Oops. Oh, I can't have him say that. Of course it works. That says the CDC and FDA. And they just approved a booster shot without testing it on humans. And of course that works too. I wonder if they're going to tell people to get the booster shot. I want to thank people on Rockfin who gave me a tip. Bill Carson, thanks for the tip. Who says, I'm glad you quit your job. More LTV. Angie Miller, thanks for the tip. Who says, loving the videos. Glad you're back. Jacob's Ladder, thanks for the tip. Vogan Filter, thanks for the tip. Michelle Obama is a man. Had a tip. It says, interesting timing for this discussion today. I'm really close to resigning from work because I'm really opposed to what I'm doing for a living. I know the feeling. I have felt opposed to what I've done for a living before several times, and I usually quit eventually. So thanks, Michelle Obama's man. And thanks, Jacob's Ladder, who says he's a boomer and has seen the BS for decades. So
Boomer truthers.
yeah,
Truther
you just like them because they have money.
Well, that's not true.
Wow, I understand. I know where you're
I
coming
think you're
from.
projecting on me. I think that's what that is.
Okay, let me play these last two vaccine clips for people who are on Rockfin, since that's where people tip the show. So if you want to see these clips, go to rockfin.com/lifttheveil, rokfin.com/lifttheveil, and you can see the stream there. And I'm going to end the stream on YouTube. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you want to support the show, buy our t-shirts at truthclothing.io or become a paid subscriber on Rockfin, on my Substack, go to Jelena.net. Jelena, do you want to promote anything?
Yeah, if you're still watching this stream, thanks. You can go to youtube.com/Jelena if you want to see my solo stream attempts. I say attempts because it's very much a work in progress.
Right.
But it's fun. You're really getting in on the ground floor of what is going to become something amazing. So
yes, exactly. So yeah, tune in for that show. That's on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific.
It's 7 Central.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, I tried to tell people what time it was. Then you had to confuse them. All right. Thanks, YouTube. I'm going to show some vaccine clips, and then we're going to get out of here. So thanks, YouTube. That's what it is. Okay. And then I'll play these clips.